All right, guys, welcome to Sphons CCW Live Show. Brought to you by Sphons CCW, obviously, thisandthatdistribution.com and Minerva Sportsmans Club. So, what do we got here tonight? Upcoming classes. What do we got for upcoming classes?
Tomorrow, actually, we have a concealed carry class here at Sphons CCW, and it's kind of a small class tomorrow, which is okay. We like small classes occasionally. December 15th, we also have a concealed carry class. It's $55, and also running out to January 2020 on the 18th, we have a concealed carry class, also $55. And then on the 19th, we have what we call basic pistol fundamentals. A lot of draw and shoot, multiple targets, etc., stuff like that. Really works on your fundamentals that you need to carry your gun. And we have more in February, but won't go into that right now. That's a ways out. So
okay, I'm just trying to pull up the comments on the Facebook feed here so everybody can see them. And once again, you guys want to say something? We're on YouTube and Facebook. You want to give us a ring? 740-422-9482. Talk about that. Local news. So some of the local news we got here, and I'm going to try and pull some of this stuff up for you. Let's get rid of our mugs here. A Bainbridge Township man told investigators that he fired his firearm twice because he thought Bigfoot was trying to break into his house. I don't know if that's such a wise idea. Officers responded to Lorraine Street home in early mornings of October 22nd after receiving reports of shots fired in the area. Police found a 60-year-old man. They called police. He told officers he fired a warning shot in his backyard to scare animals away. According to the man, the creature returned and tried to get his dog, so he fired a second gunshot to scare it. The man said it had to be Bigfoot and described the creature as being 7 feet tall. According to the police report, it reportedly returned to his home every night because his neighbors feed the animal bananas, the man claimed. During questioning, the man told police about a female who was reportedly missing from the area that he believes was taken by the creature. Police asked the man to return to his home and call police if he witnessed anything suspicious again. Investigators did not observe any large animal tracks in his yard. They also did not notice any signs of intoxication. So, seems to me like somebody's got some mental issues.
a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not.
He seems a little off his rocker.
Yep. That one. That was a pretty good one here. Let's see what else we got going on. I'm gonna try and move this around here so that everybody can see what's going on. All right, this one. So, in the area, we had a shooting, and it's actually just at a trailer park just outside of town. And we didn't get enough information for last week's show to actually put this on there, but Sheriff George Meyer reports on Friday, November 8th, 2019, at approximately 2:21 p.m., deputies responded to 1400 block of Lincoln Street Southeast in Paris Township for a report of a robbery that involved a shooting. Upon arrival, it was determined that the victim, Ryan Eugene Moore, 22 years old, from Paris Township, was being robbed by two males. During the robbery, it appears the victim, Ryan Eugene Moore, did shoot one of the male suspects, who then fled the scene. Ryan Eugene Moore then went into his residence where he was discovered with a short time later with what is believed to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Do you have that news article that anyway, we got a news article that kind of gets a little more information on this. This young man, Ryan Eugene Moore, went to the hospital and succumbed to his injuries. The second suspect, Caleb Allen Pugh, 22 years old of New Philadelphia, Ohio, was arrested and booked into Stark County Jail on felony 2. The incident remains under investigation by the Stark County Sheriff's Office.
Right there.
So, and we got some more information on here. I'll read this from the actual newspapers, from the News Leader. One man is dead and another wounded in what appears to have started as an attempted robbery on November 8th. Like we said, 1400 Lincoln Street, southeast of the Skyline Hills Mobile Home Park. When sheriffs arrived at the scene, they found a man inside a mobile home dead from a gunshot. Authorities were notified another man arrived at a local hospital seeking treatment for 3 gunshot wounds. Meyer said his office is still investigating and piecing together all the details that occurred. He said early information indicates 2 men and a woman attempted to rob the man at the mobile home, but the would-be victim shot one of the men 3 times. All 3 suspected robbers fled. Meyer said it's unclear who shot the man who was inside the mobile home. The sheriff said the woman from the vehicle is at the hospital with the man who has 3 gunshot wounds. The other man from the car had apparently dropped his accomplices off at the hospital and then drove away. He remains at large. This just smells like drug-related to me. It really does. It seems like there's going to be a lot more to this story coming out, especially in a small town. We don't have this kind of stuff happen, all that often. So it, seems drug-related.
Yeah, it seems that way. And word on the street is from several other people that that's what was going on anyway, but it's hard to verify that anyway. So.
All right, out of Ashtabula County, we got a heavily armed man in a bulletproof vest shot and killed by a deputy responding to a domestic violence call. Ashtabula County Sheriff Department has identified a man killed in a deputy-involved shooting Thursday morning in Ashtabula Township. Authorities say Christopher Mills, who is armed with multiple firearms and is wearing a bulletproof vest, was holding a shotgun and refused commands to drop the weapon when he was fatally shot by 2 deputies. Around 7 a.m. Thursday, deputies were dispatched to a home on East 39th after a neighbor called 911 to report hearing as many as 5 gunshots. When deputies arrived, they found a woman who had broken through a second-floor window to escape Mills. She yelled for help, saying the perpetrator was in the house with a gun. While one deputy tended to the woman, 2 other deputies raced around the back of the home, noticed the back door had been shot out. Sheriff Johnson said upon going inside, the deputies reported finding Mills in the living room armed with a shotgun. Mills was dressed in dark attire. The deputies were yelling for him to put the gun down. Put the gun down, Sheriff Johnson said. He moved the gun toward them. Shots were fired. Ashtabula Fire Department whisked Mills to the hospital where he was later pronounced dead. After securing the crime scene, Sheriff Johnson said deputies found that Mills had brought with him a handgun, 2 shotguns, 2 knives, scores of ammunition in a backpack, as well as a flare located in his boot. Why would you put a flare in your boot?
That doesn't
I don't
make
know.
sense.
Mills was also wearing a bulletproof vest. Sheriff Johnson said it appears Mills drove to the home prior to shooting through the lock on the back door. The longtime sheriff said at this point in the investigation, which is currently being led by the BCI, it appears the incident was a domestic in nature. The women and Mills knew one another, but the extent of their relationship remains unclear. At the time of the incident, the woman, another man, and 3 children under the age of 10 were sleeping inside the home. Mills was on some kind of mission. That will be what the investigation will put together, Sheriff Johnson said. Something was awry there. You think?
Yeah, something was awry there.
We can all draw conclusions, but that is what the investigation will be worth. Nobody wants this kind of outcome but I'm happy that nobody else got injured. The kids, and whether it's the girlfriend or wife or other male, it's just one. One is too many, but the deputies did what they had to do. BCI agents combed through the scene for several hours Thursday before allowing neighbors living in the area to return to their homes. Around 3 o'clock, 2 deputies involved in the shooting, which Sheriff Johnson said were veterans of the department, remain on paid administrative leave, which is standard procedure for any police action shooting. Yeah. So I guess the lesson on this one is, we don't have much information on where she was at in the house or anything like that, but it says she got out of a second story window to get away from this guy. Yeah, where's your own gun? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what it brings to my mind is, we lived in a small town too, and, Nashville Township isn't a very big town, but this stuff happens, small towns, big towns, all these places, and, kind of being prepared yourself to be able to defend yourself is, inherently important.
yeah. And bulletproof vests aren't bulletproof.
Yeah, they say, that's what I was going to say.
They're bullet resistant.
Vests. That's a misnomer right there, because bulletproof vests are not bulletproof. So
You still have other extremities and whatnot that you got to deal with too.
Right. Sounds like the cops did what they needed to do.
They did. Nobody else got hurt, so
Right.
just the guy that's causing the issue.
Yep.
So I guess we can't ask for a better outcome. Grove City. Sunday night, 3 elderly women were robbed at gunpoint as they walked from the Grove City Outlet Mall to a nearby hotel. Police are still looking for the suspect. The armed robbery happened just after closing time along West Side Square Drive, which connects the Grove City Outlet Mall and the Marriott next door. Pennsylvania State Police investigator minor crimes at the mall frequently, but nothing like this. As far as robberies or things of this nature or anything violent, we haven't had anything in recent history in that area. Back again, small towns. Grove City isn't really that small of a town, but
No, not really.
it happens everywhere. I mean, you have to be prepared all the time.
Right. With the opioid epidemic and everything, and crack everywhere, it can happen to you at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a street in Minerva.
Right.
It just doesn't matter anymore.
As the shooting in the trailer park outlined.
Yes, exactly.
Police said the man pulled a gun and ordered the women to hand over their bags. The suspect got away with several items, including shopping bags, purses, and cell phones. The victims were all from outside the area. They came to Grove City to shop. The investigation is more difficult because of lack of security cameras. The outlet mall currently does not have cameras that monitor the exterior of the building, Morris said.
I bet they will shortly.
Yeah, I would imagine. Says here he waited for the victims, then ran away into the mall parking lot where he made his escape. And this just goes to show you that, when emergencies happen, seconds count, police are minutes away. I mean, it is what it is. Thankfully, none of them were hurt, and it was just property that was stolen. You can never use your firearm to defend property, but
Well, it said later on in that article that Simon Properties, which owns the property, has a commitment to employees and shopper safety and employ a continuous security patrol.
well,
Yeah. I wonder if it's anything like the one they have at Mercy.
right there.
Go around and catch people sleeping in their cars.
Well, maybe, I don't know.
Don't know.
All right, so I've seen this a couple times in the past. Anybody's a Wish shopper, and I've heard people talk about these. We got this off Truth About Guns. City of Chicago is arresting buyers of Chinese full auto Glock switches. These were marketed under an airsoft product, and I'd heard about them in the past and warned some people about them. Now, the Chinese site Wish will sell a bunch of knockoff gear that is really close to American trademarks that are high quality. So anytime you buy off in there, you got to be careful what you're buying. There's also suppressor components and switches designed to turn your garden variety Glock into a full auto bullet hose, which is, illegal without a tax stamp and a license from the ATF. You also can't have them switches post 86 manufacturer. Full auto switches have turned up all over the country, and our friends at the ATF are busy trying to track down a couple of thousand of them that they know made it into the country. Chicago's WGN has noticed some in their notably violent neck of the woods. WGN investigators have learned the ATF identified over 2,500 individuals nationwide who may have obtained the part known as a switch, records show. At least 118 people possessing a total of 256 switches fall within the ATF's Chicago Field Division, an area that includes parts of neighboring Indiana and Wisconsin. The ATF is now trying to apprehend the buyers and seize the illegally purchased switches. The part is not exactly hard to find. In most cases, it was ordered online from sellers outside the U.S. for as little as $30. It's not clear how the ATF got a hold of the sales records for the gear, but Cook County Sheriff's Police recently arrested 2 people accused of buying switches from China. Both are now facing felony gun charges. Chicago police have confiscated more switches this year compared to 2018. Yeah, that's one of them things. Know what you're buying before you buy that. I've seen airsoft. Parts marketing on Wish, and for suppressors. So that it's not something that you need to be buying off in Wish. You probably shouldn't be buying any gun parts off in Wish, but that neither here nor there.
Not really. Wish isn't really my first choice of buying gun parts.
And Budget Guns and Gear Review says his daughter knew the gentleman that was in that altercation outside of town. So hopefully his daughter is not affected by that. Our buddies over at Budget Guns and Gear, good people, so hopefully they're not feeling that one too much. What else have we got going on here? The Illinois Firearm Owners ID system is a broken bureaucratic nightmare. I don't even think we need to read the article to know that's true.
Yeah, that's about right. It just makes no sense that you have to have an owner's ID card to purchase a firearm, and that's nothing but the first stages of a registry.
Well, I think Illinois actually has a registry, and I don't think there is a whole lot there that you can do about it over in that state, being that they're pretty much
you're in control of the whole damn thing.
Yeah,
and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, it says in this article, a FOID card is necessary in Illinois to legally purchase a firearm or ammunition. So I guess they have some kind of web access that they do to renew their FOID cards, and it's deer hunting season to boot.
Right.
The gun owners, iTeams received gun owners reports of problems in processing, from website issues to state phones going dead.
That sounds like a setup to me.
Well, here's the thing. This guy, Glenn Rogers, is a retired police officer. He said after 10 years, his FOID card was due to expire, so he tried to renew it online. I started in October, figured it would be a simple flow, but it hasn't been, Rogers said. It's been difficult. There's no renewal button. It's not even earthly possible for you to renew it.
Wow.
He said he can't get through to anyone even to ask for help. Illinois State Police say they're aware of the issues. Well, then fix it.
Yeah.
In the meantime, there's a lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of the FOID card itself. That's before the Illinois Supreme Court. And while oral arguments are held back in September, there's no deadline for the court to issue its decision. Nor is there a guarantee that the court will strike down the state's FOID card requirements, even though the state cannot meet its duty under the law to process the applications in a timely manner. Right now, Illinois gun owners are stuck between a rock and a hard place when it comes to exercising their rights. It's not just the FOID cards either. Illinois State Police is also running a huge backlog on processing concealed carry licenses. Dan Eldridge of Maxson Shooter Supplies and Indoor Range said a survey of his customers revealed the state is taking about 120 days to process applications submitted with fingerprints and 140 days for applications submitted without fingerprints. That is ridiculous. 120 days to process a concealed carry license.
Well, it wasn't too long ago that the U.S. Supreme Court threw out all Illinois' gun laws anyway.
Well, they were going to.
Yeah.
It came down to the point where they said either come up with a concealed carry process, or we're going to chuck your prohibition out the window. And
Like
it's been to. Yeah, well, I don't think the city of Chicago or the state of Illinois ever quits.
No.
I don't think they get it.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
What else do we got here? So unfortunately, we had another school shooting. It looks like between 5 and 6 people were gunned down in Santa Clarita, California. It looks like it's a 16-year-old kid, and they did not release any names on this, but the teen was using a .45 caliber handgun from his backpack and opened fire on students before turning the gun on himself. 4 people from the school were transported to Henry Mayo Newell Hospital for treatment. One patient, a 16-year-old girl, died there. A 14-year-old girl, a 15-year-old girl, and 2 15-year-old boys are being treated. Their condition was not immediately known. So we're still getting details on this. There's a ton of stuff coming out. There's going to be a bunch of things and misinformation that's going to be thrown around. Of course, there's calls for bans on high-capacity magazines and micro-stamping and everything else like that already. But if you were shooting a .45 caliber handgun, my guess is it had a low-capacity magazine in it anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah, very few 45 caliber handguns have high capacity magazine. Most of them are even the double stacks are 10 rounds.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're their supposed bans anyway.
Yeah.
There's and then of course they're going to blame the NRA too.
Yeah.
Oh, I guarantee it.
Well, they've already, San Francisco's already labeled the NRA a terrorist organization.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yep.
Got 2 pieces left here for the news. U.S. Supreme Court Tuesday cleared the way for families of 9 victims in the Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre in 2012 to sue Remington Arms Company, owner of Bushmaster. Now they sent this back down to the lower court, and Remington's being sued not for misuse of the firearm. It doesn't look like. It looks like they're being sued for marketing the firearm.
Yeah.
To
it's a violation of the Connecticut Unfair Trade Practices Act.
Yeah. So they say it would wrongfully market the rifle. It looks like they, if we read through this article here, it looks like they're being sued for marketing the rifle to like underage people and people that shouldn't have it. I think it said something about, let me find it here for you. must not be in this article. I think they said that they're being sued because the rifle was marketed as having a military function, so that people should not be allowed to have a military functioning firearm. Yeah, plaintiffs contend Remington marketed the weapon as a highly lethal weapon designed for the purposes that are illegal, namely killing other human beings, CNBC reported. The argument is that the firearm was marketed in a way that inspired Adam Lanza to commit the massacre.
And you have to put into context that this kid, not only did he have mental problems himself, but before he used the gun at the school, he killed his mother at home.
Yeah.
So, how does that make that Remington's fault?
I don't think it does, but we're not the ones sitting on a jury, I guess.
Exactly. Oh, this is the best one of the day.
Yeah, best news article of the day. We got some good stuff here. Bear steals 36 beers from campers, gets drunk and passes out until rangers show up. This is really good. So, according to the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, a black bear was found passed out on the lawn of Swift Creek Campground due to drinking a 36-pack of beers. Apparently, some campers were away from their tents, maybe going on a hike or swim. While they were gone, this backwoods bandit bear snuck into their campsite and opened up their cooler full of cold brews. The evidence was discovered after they found the bear passed out with a trail of empty beer cans leading back to the campsite. A total of 36 cans were found with bite marks and bear claw punctures in them. But the bear has only a taste for one beer. What's funnier about the situation is the bear was only interested in a specific type of beer called Rainier beer. When investigating the scene, it was found the bear opened one bush and apparently didn't like it because he left the rest of them untouched. However, he drank all of the Rainier beer. When the park officials tried to chase it away from the campground, the bear was stumbling so bad it couldn't walk straight, climbed a tree to take a nap. Several hours later, it woke up and park rangers were able to safely remove the bear. And he came back the next day because he had such a good time. He showed back up the very next day for round 2 with another camper's cooler of beers. Although this time the wildlife officials were prepared and set up a trap that safely captured the bear again by luring him in with donuts, honey, and of course 2 open cans of Rainier beer. The bear was relocated for the second time, and the story went viral on social media. Although no video was ever taken of the bear, below is a video of what might have looked like. So, apparently that bear likes Rainier beer the best.
Moral of the story is,
Bareback.
if you're gonna go camping, take bush beer.
I don't know about that, but all right. Anything else? What do we got here? Shooting tips. We're gonna do some shooting tips. I think
What do you got?
with the weather that we got showing up last week, it was 12 degrees or something outside.
Yeah.
One thing that we don't see out of a lot of people is bad weather shooting. I mean, the ranges are pretty clear in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Rain, snow, sleet, hail. I know it's not overly fun to stand out in the rain or sleet or hail, but if you need to be proficient with your firearm, then bad guys don't show up.
It's not always 70 and sunny.
It's not always 70 and sunny. So get out there in the pouring down rain and the snow and the bad weather and get some experience with it.
And a lot of people say, well, I don't take my guns out when it's cold or snowing or raining.
How do you know if they work?
Well, I don't want to get my guns wet,
Think of all the guns that we have seen in classes when we do classes in inclement weather or cold weather that have failed. That people, they tell you, oh, well, I shoot this thing all summer and all spring and it's just fine.
Yeah.
So they get out in inclement weather and cold weather especially. On top of that, for the concealed carriers out there, all of those extra layers, and you got your Carhartt coat on and all this other stuff. Maybe carrying that chow time, 5 o'clock carry or whatever. Takes you a long time to get to that.
May not be the best way to carry it.
Without ever doing that, you'll never know.
Right?
Yeah. You may want to go with a different style holster of some sort, if you need to do that. So,
No kidding.
The ranges are clear. I've been down there every morning all week, and at least down at the Sportsmans Club, and I haven't seen a soul all week. And yeah, it's cold, yeah, it's snowy, but that doesn't mean you should not train just because it's cold and snowy. And that's a way. It's a fact of life. You have winter in Ohio.
Yeah.
And you just have to deal with it.
No kidding. Well, that kind of really leads into our carry tip for the day. Last week we talked about holsters, having the right holster, making sure it works, making sure it's functional. But is your holster right for cold weather? Is it right for? As we're carrying through the winter months, you got a coat, you might have a sweatshirt, undershirt, rain suit, gloves on. Can you draw from your holster with gloves on? I know some of the finger release ones, I have trouble with gloves on them because the glove will get caught in the finger release.
Right.
Or I can't feel it to actuate it, to get it out. So I got to go with a thumb release in the wintertime.
And that leads right into trigger control, because it's way different to shoot a gun with gloves on anyway.
Certainly.
So, sooner or later, I think if you're serious about carrying and training, and you're going to end up like us and have tubs full of holsters just for different types of carry and times of year. And they made you inside the waistband, outside the waistband, shoulder holsters of a couple different kinds, and you name it. There's a bunch of stuff out there that is all of value in different situations.
Certainly. Yeah, it's nasty weather this week, and it's something you got to think about.
Yep.
So that brings us right up to what we got for our product of the week. One of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a couple holsters here. Here, you take one, I'll take the other one.
Okay.
What do we got? Blackhawk Omnivores here. So chose this one. A couple different reasons. Number one, it's a universal holster. The light bearing attaches to the light. You can get them for TLR 1, 2, and the Surefire lights. What we did find is the nightstick lights are the same dimensions as the TLR, so they will work with this light-bearing holster. And it fits any gun, so it's specific to the light. You can put any gun in there. It's a thumb brake. Comes with a bunch of accessories, and they're not overly expensive for a level 2 holster. What are these?
Oh, $49.
Yeah, so $50 for a light-bearing level 2 with a belt and paddle mount, and pretty cool. I've been using this holster for a couple years now, and I really like this holster. It secures really well, and once you get used to the thumb brake function on it, it's really fast. So I do like this holster. The one Dad's got here, this is a non-light bearing model, and it has a rail attachment device that hooks on the rail of your firearm, so it will hold pretty much any firearm that's got a rail. And same thumb brake device, same good construction. Blackhawk makes some pretty good stuff. I think they're a buck or two cheaper.
No,
same price? Yeah. Okay, same price. So if you're looking for something for a full-size handgun, they got a belt and a paddle attachment in both of these holsters. Check out the Omnivore if you find one in stock. We keep a couple of these in stock all the time. So good choice.
For level 2 holster, that's a really good choice, especially if you have a gun that is kind of odd and you can't find a holster for it in a level 2.
Right, and the most popular lights seem to be the Surefires and the TLRs. So
Yeah.
that pretty much. I know the old lights are coming around, but I don't see too many of those.
Yeah, I know Comus has a couple of them too. So.
Yeah.
And of course, Trigicon's has them, and a couple other companies.
Sig, I think.
Anyway, next one we got is a lot of people haven't heard of these knives. This is what they call a Mora.
Hold it up higher.
And, the Moras, they've been around for maybe 6 or 8 years, 10 years maybe.
In the States? Well,
Yeah, in the
they're
States.
Sweden's
Right.
oldest knife manufacturer.
Right. I know that in Europe and in Sweden, they've been around for a long time. And this is a pretty good knife. I know Nate has used one of these to cut up a whole deer and never sharpened it. They're good quality. It's carbon steel blade, so you can carry it and sharpen it and not really worry about destroying it. This one here happens to be $10. This is a basic 511, and there's several other different models and colors and styles and et cetera, et cetera. They also have fillet knives and stuff like that too.
Yeah, I think Mora builds a lot of knives,
Yeah.
all the way from
Right.
the $10 knives to
Yeah.
$250 knives, I
Right.
think.
And it's a Kydex sheath for it, so it never gonna cut through. And belt clip. There's also a whole, kind of a tang thing to go around it, so you can't pull it out.
Those
strap.
That thing here also, if you have a second Mora, the sheath will attach to that clip, so you can put two sheaths on one belt.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. But it's real good quality. It's really an alternative. When nobody wants to drag around $100 knife in the woods, and for fear of losing it, or whatever, or so really good alternative for that for $10. Can't go wrong. If you
Right.
lose it in the woods, it breaks the sheath or whatever, you're only out $10.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're awesome knives for what they are. I mean, they're like the $10 knives and even the up to the $15 knives. They're not like a full tang. You can't really do a whole lot of batoning or something with them. I mean, Mora does sell stuff in that caliber that does have a tang, that a full tang on it to do that stuff. But I've cut up a lot of deer, used them, start to finish on them, and they have just performed awesome. And with the carbon steel, if it does start to get a little bit dull, you just touch them up with a nice fine stone, and you're back to like a razor blade. So I'm really happy with the Mora knives, and especially for the cost. I mean, most pocket knives you buy for $10 fall apart in your pocket in 3 days, and I've had mine for several years. So they're definitely worth every penny in them.
Yeah, cool. All right,
What do we got next?
we got our video coming up. Let me see if we can get this video up here and talk about this a little bit. Let's see if our guys can see it. Get our mugs out of the way. So I chose this one because this is from Canton, Ohio, in 2010. So we're gonna check this video out, and then we're gonna probably pause it a couple times. 3 perpetrators entering a convenience store. I've been to this convenience store before, and there's a woman working. First one walks in, distracts her, and the second guy comes up and shoves a gun in her face. Now, what I want you to notice is this guy points this gun this way toward the entrance of the door, but also the woman that was standing there in the middle of the counterway there, she backed off to behind that little ladder that's there. So she immediately created distance. She doesn't have a firearm or any type of weapon whatsoever, but we bang on this time and distance thing. So she immediately created distance between her and her attacker. Had she had a firearm right here, would have been a perfect opportunity to engage. But of course, she is unarmed. He comes back across the counter, pointing the firearm at her. Another perpetrator comes around the end of the counter, and then they come through and force her over to the register and continually pointing the firearm at her. And then, as you can see, perpetrator number 2 is milling around the counter, leaning over here. Perpetrator number 3 is in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. And I don't know if you saw that or not. The guy just stuffed the gun in her face. The unfortunate part about this video is she literally has no way to defend herself. There's no cover in this store. It's just a bad situation all around for this particular cashier. Looks like she's trying to get the register open. He's got the gun pointed at her. As soon as she gets the register open, he goes to cleaning out the register, and notice he's not paying attention to her whatsoever. His buddy leaves him. He trips over the ladder. This would have been another great time to engage had she had some way to defend herself. As you can see, he turns around almost fully away from her. You know, obviously at this point in time, you know, he's trying to get out of there, but there's still a perpetrator down. There's still a third perpetrator here somewhere, which you can see his foot kind of go in and out of there. Yeah. Terrible situation.
Yeah, it's
terrible.
It's just bad.
Just terrible. The entire thing was just terrible.
She was helpless.
Essentially.
Absolutely helpless, you know. And there's too many times, you know, the perpetrators, whoever's doing it, will just take that life just to get them out of the way.
Right.
And they just don't care about it anymore. So
I guess the big takeaway here is, you know, have some type of defense.
yeah.
She had nowhere to go. Literally no avenue of escape.
No.
No cover. She did, you know, create some distance between her and the attacker initially, but then she waited for them to come over around the counter and continue their robbery. I guess, you know, at that point in time, violence of action comes into play at some point in time.
Right.
Like, we got to get out of here, throw something at this dude and take off running out the back door if there is one. We don't know that.
If there is one, yeah, we don't know that. Why, you know, this was a convenience store robbery. Why wasn't there 2 people there? You know,
Maybe.
You don't know that, you know, there might have not have been anybody there at all. But, you know, the second person, you know, theoretically could have had a handgun or something to, you know, at least scare them guys away. But
yeah, I don't know.
You know,
Unfortunately, that's what we get out of these videos is we get a video clip and that's pretty much it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's just a completely opposite situation. I mean, not only does she have really no tools to defend herself with, but then she's, you know, completely outnumbered. I mean, 3-1, they're just terrible odds. You know, they can, there's so many different things that they can do. Looked like only one of them had a gun, but, you know, one might have been enough. They might not have had to show theirs, and you know, you get surrounded and chased and moved by, you know, 3 different people. That's, you know, scary stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we've been talking about small town, big town, close to home. I mean, a lot of this stuff we cover it isn't that far away.
Well, how many times did it, you know, natives say Rockies and Malvern went in there right after it was robbed just recently, or, you know, within the last year.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah, the Rockies down the street from me has been robbed several times since I've lived there in Melva. I mean, the store down when Caps was open, it was robbed.
Oh yeah, right.
Right down the street from Jay. So
Yeah.
And they knew who it was, but it's like,
Yeah, the criminal mind isn't always the most intelligent
no.
mind that's out there. So, yeah, bad situation. So what can we learn from it? Have tools to defend yourself. Have a plan. I mean, how many times do we talk about that? Have a plan
Yeah.
to do something.
The alarm button underneath, and, panic button of some kind.
Right? Cell phone, 911. I mean,
Right.
even our alarm system, if you punch the right code in, it immediately calls the police. So,
Right.
that kind of stuff is not, it's not difficult to set up and deal with. So,
And not expensive, really.
no,
Really.
a lot of that kind of stuff is free. I mean,
Yeah.
especially if you got a convenience store, you ought to be able to afford some type of alarm. Now, they did have a camera, but,
Yeah.
she didn't have a whole lot of time to deal with that kind of stuff. But, who is? Shock and awe comes into play there. That forced
exactly.
normalization loop that we talk about in defensive pistol, where, hey, the guy's running because maybe it's cold outside or something stupid that your brain puts you through. So, not good. The good part about it is she didn't. She went home.
Yeah, she went home. Well,
The convenience store owner's pocket was a little lighter, but
well,
who cares
that's
about that?
insured, so whatever.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to know whether she is still working there. I don't think I would be.
No,
At
I
least not
know where this
without a firearm
convenience
on
store
me.
is at, and it's she's.
Yeah.
I don't think that I've never seen her there. So,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool to find something that you can relate to in your day-to-day life, know where it's at, know what's happening. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's not cool that the place got robbed. It's just you can go there and check it out if you want to.
Right.
All right, new products. Couple cool ones I've heard about this week. The Canik TP9 SF Elite Compact. Same worn sights, same trigger system, in a compact package, about just smaller than G19, about Ruger SR9C
Yeah.
size.
Right in that area. Anyway.
Would like to shoot one. Haven't seen one yet. They are available for order.
Yeah.
Um,
If they're as good as the regular Canics, then it's going to be a hit.
yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
between a 12 and 15 round magazine. I'm not positive on magazine capacity, but TP9SF Elite Compact, tungsten gray, looks like a TP9SF Elite, without the large size. So,
Right.
Taurus G3s.
They are available. Looked at a couple places today. They are available. They run about $260.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one to get a hold of and try out. Maybe we'll get one sometime and do a range video and evaluation on that.
Right.
That would be good to have.
Yeah, the G2C just large G19 size, so it's a little larger.
Right.
A little longer than 3-inch barrel. It's almost 4-inch barrel, right?
Almost a 4-inch barrel. Yep.
So,
I think it is a 4-inch barrel on it. Yep.
looking forward to those. We're going to get one of those and try it out. The other thing I saw today out of one of our distributors is a Security 9 Pro and Security 9 Pro Compact. If anybody's familiar with Ruger's Security 9 series, they're a hammer-fired semi-auto, but they get a really good trigger, and they seem to be really reliable. Daughter owns one, and like I said, no complaints. 15-round magazines.
Yeah. I've shot that gun a lot, and it's always accurate, always reliable, and it's a little bit different grip than the SR and the American, but the grip is really good on it.
Yeah, it's more of a straight grip than it
it's more of a
is.
straight grip but I've never seen one malfunction. That's for sure.
Well, I guess the upgrades for the Security 9 Pro are night sights, steel night sights that they're putting on there, and no mechanical safety. So they're deleting the mechanical safety, and it looks like they're only about $40 to $50 more than a regular Security 9. So
Well, you can't buy the night sights for that.
yeah, night sights generally cost you about $100 to have them, to buy them and then installed. So for the $40 to $50 price difference, I think it's probably well worth it to go with the Pro with the night sights on it. Yeah. I don't know who the night sight manufacturer is, but at some point in time, I'm sure we'll find that out.
Yeah. Well, if they stay with what normally fits on the Rugers, Trigicons and standard manufacturers, so they can change them out. So if you want to, anyway.
No kidding.
But
I'm really looking forward to that G4 or that G3. With what we've seen from that G2 in class, that G3 ought to be quite interesting. More of a full size 9mm.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to get we've just trounced on that G2C for years, literally trounced on the thing. And it has taken every beating we have put it through and kept on
without being clean.
Yeah, without being clean.
Yeah.
I don't think that gun has ever been cleaned, ever. It's been oiled, but I don't think anybody has ever cleaned it. It is nasty.
Well, it's in the hands of our gunsmith candidate right now, ain't it? I think.
No, I think he gave up on that.
He gave up on that one.
Yeah.
He
I don't think he had enough detergent in his dishwasher for it. But yeah, I think we ought to do the same thing with the G3. I think we ought to get one of them and just trounce on it and see if it'll take the beating.
Yeah, that's the big thing, and that's exactly what we did with the G2, and it always runs.
Yeah,
I know. It doesn't matter what you feed it. It just always runs.
The Taurus reputation isn't the greatest, but I think, I don't know whether it's a blind dog finds a bone every now and again, or whether they did their due diligence on the thing. But
I don't know.
I haven't had one of their the TH series in my hand, but the G2Cs have been really good. So
the only
keep running
complaint I've ever heard about the G2C was the trigger being that double action, single action.
Yeah,
and
that's just confusing to.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Confusing to people who first start using that firearm.
Right. So
anyway,
we'll see how it works.
Right. You guys got anything else? I think we're good. That pretty much brings us to the end of the show. Thanks for everybody who's watching. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook. If you want to sign up for class, SphonsCCW.com or shootingclasses.com/SphonsCCW. Thanks again for attending. Brought to you by, of course, Sphons CCW, this and that distribution.com, and the Minerva Sportsman's Club. Have a good night, guys.